On this special edition of Independent Sources, 2015, the year in review. Welcome to a special year in review episode of Independent Sources, where we take a look back at some of our favorite stories from the past year. I'm Abi Ishola. We'll begin with a story I produced about a Bed-Stuy native who has set up a boutique concept store in the neighborhood at a time when increasing gentrification is forcing out longtime residents and Black-owned businesses.
I'm Avent-deLeon, and I'm the owner of Sincerely Tommy. The store itself is a concept store, meaning that all of the clothing, artwork, jewelry, accessories that we carry are all from emerging brands from around the world. And we really tried to adhere to that concept to kind of create this platform for new artists to showcase their work. We are located in Bed-Stuy, which happens to be the neighborhood where I grew up. And I always knew I wanted to have it here because I just wanted to contribute to the changes going on in the neighborhood, and I've just always really enjoyed the vibe of community and the intimacy that comes with living in this neighborhood. Tommy stands for Tompkins. I'm on the corner of Monroe and Tompkins, and I also grew up on Jefferson and Tompkins. And I love having the option of being able to stay local. Being able to eat in Bed-Stuy is awesome, but I also feel as though there should be more of a direct connection to the people who are originally in this area. I don't see that often. It's usually a case where people kind of come in and there's this sense of entitlement, or there's just, I'm going to set up shop, but I'm not making sure that I'm connecting to the people who have been here. If it wasn't for my grandmother, this business wouldn't exist. She's played probably the most key role in this process besides my mom. She came here in the 80s from Grenada and worked day and night to buy her first brownstone for $60,000 in Bed-Stuy. And everyone told her not to because that's when Bed-Stuy was still Bed-Stuy. And then since then, she's kind of just been diving into the real estate world, if you will, and investing in properties in the neighborhood. I sat down with her and my mom and I asked them about finding a space that had a commercial area in it. And we just started looking for something after that. And I think about 6 months later, we found this building. Getting more locals in here is really important to us because we get a lot of people from Bushwick and Williamsburg and even from the city. But I think a lot of people in the neighborhood don't really know about us yet. So yeah, that's our next step.
In this next story, Judith Escalona told us about the city's effort to create affordable housing for artists with the opening of art space PS 109.
Tenants began moving into El Barrio's art space PS 109 early this year. The newly renovated building has been converted into 89 apartment units for artists. Whether you're a painter, writer, or musician, there's a space for you if you meet the city's criteria for low-income housing. Maria Rivera is a singer and dancer with a hip-hop and R&B group called Unstoppable Dance Crew.
They just called me in. Hopefully I can get the place. I found out that it's actually, most of the people is actually artists in here, so maybe we can all link up, do something, talent show, you know, something great for the community.
The community is East Harlem, better known as Spanish Harlem or El Barrio, a neighborhood with a rich Puerto Rican cultural tradition that has drawn other Latinos to the area. Today, gentrification is displacing longtime residents and artists. El Barrio's art space PS 109 is trying to stave off their departure and save the community's unique character.
The construction and the pre-development took many years, and now that the building's completed, we're entering a new phase where we're breathing life into the building by occupying it with artists.
Gustavo Rosado is the executive director of El Barrio's Operation Fight Back that manages and builds low-income housing in Spanish Harlem. They partnered with ArtSpace, the Minnesota-based organization that has been developing housing for artists nationwide since 1979.
The ArtSpace team came to New York, toured buildings in all 5 boroughs, looking for a building that would lend itself well to becoming artists' live workspace, and eventually found PS 109. So since 2004, we have been working with Fight Back, with the city, to save this building and renovate it and make it a home for artists.
El Barrio's ArtSpace PS 109 cost $52 million for a gut renovation of the interior and restoration of the facade in keeping with the city's landmark requirements. City guidelines also called for low-income residents to have a recreational space. The developers substituted an art gallery in its place. Painter and multimedia artist Antonia Guerrero, who recently moved in, says it's a dream come true.
I think that the design of the spaces is wonderful. It's beautifully put together. They have that wonderful gallery space downstairs, which I'm sure will be put to many, many different uses. People are going to come up with all kinds of interesting programs, I think, that will want to involve people of the members of the community.
But that hope won't be shared by all the artists who applied. Over 5,000 applicants, including longtime residents of Spanish Harlem, were eliminated by lottery or proved ineligible.
We certainly did advocate for the community artists where we could and tried to see if we could push the limits somewhat. And would they be any types of waivers or special consideration for community residents, but unfortunately we were not successful.
Despite that, the developers and tenants like Carlos and Alenka David expect great things.
I am so excited because there's going to be all these artists living here, and we're going to be meeting and collaborating on different projects, connecting. I think that's just like the best thing in the world.
It was really fascinating to think this is a whole community moving for something with an ideal. And the base of it is creativity.
El Barrio's ArtSpace PS 109 will also be a secure home for organizations such as Taller Latinoamericano that has been serving the Latino community and general public through the arts for over 30 years. Bernardo Palombo is its executive director and founder.
We are moving our organization, El Taller Latinoamericano, right here to continue from the place where most of our Latin culture started, to keep on doing what we have been doing and see if we can do what is the hope of this place, to create a cultural renaissance.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too.
Judith Escalona, Independent Sources.
It's always fascinating to walk around the city and hear the many different languages coming from corner stores or conversations. Sarah Pizan told us about one woman's efforts to save a disappearing South American language called Quechua.
Alin tuta kachun.
Alin tuta kachun.
Hinalyatak kambapas.
Every week, Elva Ambia welcomes her students to her Park Slope kitchen. Her mission, to revitalize a centuries-old indigenous South American language, Quechua.
Quechua language is the language of my ancestors, the Incas from Peru. It's beautiful, it's sweet, it's loving, it's just wonderful language. And it's made from the sounds of the nature.
Michael Abbott is one of her most advanced students, and he's been studying Quechua for no more than 2 years.
Manasasachu. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. You add suffixes to the words and then it grows a little bit longer. Also, the word order is a little bit different. So the verb is placed at the end of the sentence in Quechua. but it's a matter of just being a little adventurous sometimes, and Elva's very good at that.
Ambia learned Quechua from her parents growing up in Chincheros, a small rural town southeast of Lima. Quechua was the official language of the Inca Empire. It stretched across the Andean chain of mountains from Ecuador to Argentina. As Spain's influence grew following the colonization of the Americas in the 16th century, so did the dominance of Spanish. Over the years, Quechua began to disappear. This is a phenomenon Juliet Blevin studies. She is an expert on endangered languages at the City University of New York.
It's always difficult to say what the major factors are when a language isn't passed from one generation to the next. But in this case, probably urbanization and economic factors that result in people thinking that if they speak Spanish, they'll have better opportunities, are playing a major role.
Eventually, Quechua was stigmatized by the Spanish conquerors, who felt it was an unsophisticated language and should only be spoken by the uneducated.
There was, in a way, this racism. There were lots of prejudice against the people who came from the provinces speaking Quechua. When they come to Lima, they will put the Quechua behind. Everybody was ashamed to speak it. They were mistreated, like they will be called cholos. Cholos is a derogative word to say ignorant, not welcome.
Nonetheless, it's estimated that there are between 8 to 10 million speakers worldwide.
Of all the languages in the Americas, Quechua has the best chance for revitalizing itself. It has so many native speakers, they're spread all over the world. And in New York City, the estimates are about 8 to 10,000 speakers. It's been growing through immigration, but it has not been growing through new speakers learning the language.
Even with these numbers, New York's Quechuan speaking community has been largely invisible for decades, something Ambia discovered when she moved here in the mid-1960s.
I have nobody to speak to me in Quechua. So, and since I also have to work and raise my children here, I put the language behind me.
Things changed in 2010 when she participated in a committee to set up a multilingual center at the Grand Army Plaza Library in Brooklyn. The only book mentioning the Quechua language was this small booklet of phrases.
That made me angry. And I said, no way. We had to do something about it.
So she had her brother-in-law send Quechuan books from Bolivia and donated them to the library. Then she met Naomi Stern, a folklorist who helped her start the New York Quechua Initiative. Stern worked with Ambia's son, Andres, on Peruvian art in the city, and he insisted she meet his mother.
When I did meet Elva, she actually had a list ready. I remember I came in, I thought I was coming to band practice, and she said, Naomi, would you come over here? I need to talk to you about some grants. And I said, oh my goodness, this lady's ready.
Together with Christine Janey, they launched a cultural organization in 2012.
So we had the idea, we had the place, we had the books. What was missing was a big raimi, big party to introduce these books to the community.
These raimis, or parties, are now monthly events where Quechuan music is played and the culture celebrated. Ambia's son is the founder of Incaraiku. His band performs at all of the raimis.
It's important as far as identity is concerned for us to show, this is where we're from. It's a very poetic language. There's usually double meanings. You get all of this as you're singing. And of course, it's pride. The same thing is pride in our culture and, the Quechua culture.
Elva students not only learn and practice the Quechua language through talking and interacting with one another, they do so through singing. Elva says she kept the language alive through playing old tapes of Quechuan music. It had a major impact on her children, especially her son.
I didn't realize that and he didn't realize neither until he became a big performer. And one day in the library we were performing, he said, thanks for all the music that I heard that my mother had. I listened to those, and that must have made
Yeah.
a big impact in my life, and that's why I love this music very much. He said, and that really made me very, very proud and hopeful.
Hopeful that the dignity of the Quechua language will be forever restored. For Independent Sources, I'm Sarah Pizon.
We're sticking to stories with origins in South America in this next Judith Escalona piece. She profiled an all-female band called Batala NYC, which plays a fusion of samba and reggae music.
Stacey Kovacs is hitting the streets of New York with an energetic all-woman drumming band called Batala New York City. The band plays a fusion of samba and reggae. Batala literally means hit there in French and in Brazilian Portuguese slang. It all started in 1997 in a Paris park where Giba Gonçalves from Bahia, Brazil, would meet with friends to play music just for fun. More people joined in and a samba reggae band was formed. It later spread to other cities in Europe, the US, and Argentina. They branded themselves Batala and have become a kind of international franchise, with Gonçalves as director.
The total number of bands right now is hovering around 30 around the world, and he's the head maestro of all of them. And we're all very connected on social media, and we all play the same music, and we use the same hand signs, and we wear the same stuff and the same logos with our various cities. And so in the project itself, there's about 1,600 drummers.
Kovacs heard Batala's distinct musical style and decided to create a band for New York. She wanted it to be an all-woman group, like Batala Washington, D.C., partly to make a political statement.
I felt that this was something important to do, especially in New York City, because number one, it doesn't exist here. Number two, it's a political statement in the sense that it's Afro-Brazilian music that's, like I said, traditionally so male. When you go to Brazil, it's all the guys playing it all the time. So we're going to take it here, and we want to spread this culture, and we want to spread this music because the music's amazing music. And the other reason I wanted to be all female is because I knew in my heart it would succeed in New York City as an all-women's group because it's powerful, it's choreographed, it's flashy, it's colorful, it's loud as hell.
There were naysayers.
I was involved in a lot of Brazilian music drum groups before I started this one, and the response from those people were, oh, it'll never succeed. You know, you can't have an all-women's group. You won't find enough people. You won't find enough women.
That was 3 years ago. Right now, Batala New York City has a roster of 82 women who volunteer their time to play one of 4 different kinds of drums. Sara Valentine is a freelance events planner. She's been with Batala New York City since it began in 2012.
In 1992, I went to the Republican National Convention in Houston, Texas. And I saw the WAC drum corps play, the Women's Action Coalition. And I knew WAC as an activist group in New York City fighting for women's rights and reproductive health, along with a group called WHAM. But I did not know that they had a drum corps. So when I saw this, it was just like the earth shook for me. It was very exciting to see these women of all ages playing drums together.
For Valentine, Batala New York City was perfect in many other ways.
It's a very accepting group, forgiving group. If you make mistakes, the music is a little forgiving. It's incredible. It's creative, it's magical, it transforms people. The fact that this organization is worldwide, so I know that I'm kind of part of a fraternity now where I can go, you know, across the US to South America and across Europe with this group and play the same music, and we share commonalities, and I think that that's fantastic.
Batala New York City recently returned from Bahia, where they already seem to be changing the minds of a few naysayers.
Right now the reaction is positive, and we're growing, and we're getting a lot more press, and you know, we have a lot more social media presence, and because we're in New York City, there is a lot of pressure from the global project for us to be the biggest, the best.
Kovacs' plans for the future of Batala New York City are just that, to be the biggest and the best.
I want 150 women I want to play as many shows as possible, as many parades. I want to tour the country. I have this sort of plan in my head, which I don't know how possible it is to have a teen and a child version, you know, like after school type stuff.
Out of the 30 Batala bands that exist worldwide, 4 are all women. Batala New York City, Batala Washington, D.C., Batala Brasilia, and Batala Mendoza, Argentina. Stacy Kovacs plans to add several more to that roster. Judith Escalona, Independent Sources.
Earlier in the show, we told you about Elva Ambia's effort to save the disappearing Quechuan language. Now we'll hear about how a few Brooklyn moms are pushing for a Japanese dual language program in public schools. Sarah Pizan told us more.
These 4-year-olds are singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star in Japanese. It's a glimpse of what's to come for some elementary students in Williamsburg. Starting this fall, PS 147 will offer 50 seats in the city's first English-Japanese dual language program, starting at the kindergarten level.
Japanese appealed to all of us because there is no Japanese program in a public school. All of us were interested in having our children be in a dual language program because we think being bilingual is very important and also just great for the children's brain development.
The number of dual language programs in the 5 boroughs keeps rising. It's a recent phenomenon that's gaining the attention of many parents like Yuli Fisher. She's a Taiwanese-American mom of 2 young children, Kieran 3 and Evo 17 months. She says it became stressful when the time came around to send her eldest child to elementary school. The application process is difficult because it's done through Kindergarten Connect, a Department of Education online enrollment tool that randomly selects where a child is placed.
Because there's such a disparity between the lowest level school and the highest level school, and it's hard to sort of find like a middle ground, it causes parents a ton of anxiety. We didn't want to sort of hope for the best.
So she got together with 4 other moms from her neighborhood, who she met on the Brooklyn Baby Huey, a parents' online community.
And we're not all Japanese. So I'm Taiwanese, Heejin is Korean, Lonnie is Chinese, and Yumi and Monica are Japanese or a mix.
Though they have different backgrounds, these moms share an affinity for the Japanese culture. That, along with the fact that they live in the 2nd largest Japanese populated district in the city, prompted them to create the first dual language program of its kind.
We said, look, these are all the families who are interested, all these Japanese families who have Japanese-speaking children who are interested. Mm-hmm. And these are, you know, the English-speaking families who are interested. We had like a whole sort of curricular philosophy in place, and we had a plan about, you know, where we would find teachers, where we'd find funding and grants. So we did a lot of homework before we went to the school and toured the schools to see which one we would put it in. Once they could see those numbers that we've done the homework, they were pretty impressed.
They have been really the foot soldiers for a lot of the internal work and big advocates for the program.
Sandra Noyola is the school principal at PS 147. She also sees many benefits to the dual language program.
There's lots and lots of research that speak to the benefits of individuals who are bilingual. Also, as our children prepare for college and career readiness, we want to make sure that our children have the academic skill sets and are intellectual to compete in a global society. It opens up a world for the children to explore other careers outside of the United States.
It wasn't difficult for the moms to choose PS 147 as their school. They both agreed on a side-by-side curricular philosophy. The Office of English Language Learners is currently helping them develop this teaching model.
The children will follow a schedule which on certain days they're only learning English and there is a teacher that's only speaking and teaching them in English. And then on other days, the opposite will happen in the Japanese language. So they are fully immersed in both languages.
The collaboration between PS 147 and the Brooklyn moms caught the attention of the Department of Education and earned them a $25,000 grant. The moms remain very involved with the entire process. With this money, they plan on bringing Japanese teaching materials to the classrooms.
Need to find it
online,
Yeah.
so, like Japanese online, like,
then they can get it.
and then ask them, okay, specifically, we want this.
The moms are also currently helping to recruit licensed teachers, but their efforts won't stop there.
When we started this, we were like, okay, great, we got approval from the principal. Okay, great, we got our grants, from the English language learners office. We have to keep continuing to support this program and do work for it. It's not just like, oh, we've got this and it's done.
Yuli and the moms plan to continue developing the Japanese dual language program to 5th grade and beyond. For Independent Sources, I'm Sarah Pizon.
痛いよーって。それで捕まっちゃったね。これお手手直してんの。
Finally from us, Zypha's LeBron's story about the many emerging independent creators who are riding the wave of comic book chic and producing more books featuring characters of color.
While comic giants DC promoted the upcoming Batman vs. Superman film and Marvel their forays into animation and their new line of comics, the minnows of the industry were hard at work selling their stories to a curious but cautious few.
The book is called Legend of the Manta Magi, and it's a story of a shallow, conceited district attorney of New York who finds out he's the last in a race called the Manta Magi that used to protect us from the forces of evil. So he's the last person you ever want to be a hero, has to defend us from an evil sorcerer who's been resurrected in New York City and is posing as a religious leader.
I have a comedy book coming out. It's called Sunlar. It's a buddy comedy. We have an alien who gives this drunken fry cook in East LA powers, and so he becomes kind of a bumbling idiot. So it's these two going on adventures. The superhero is trying to get the best shoe deal he can possibly get and get fine wine and loose women, and the alien is not having any of it. So
Jameel, Hemphill, and Eric Dean Seaton were just two of the small publishers at this year's New York Comic-Con, trying to get their piece of the 10% of the sector that independent creators like them represent. They both agree that it's tough selling people on characters that are not Superman or Spider-Man. But Hemphill says that's changing as the audience becomes more diversified.
in my tenure as making comics, I've noticed that the clientele has gotten more diverse at these cons, and I think that's helped me. When people see characters that look like them, they want to buy them.
Diversity has become a big buzzword in comics these days, with the success of films like Captain America the Winter Soldier and Guardians of the Galaxy, that's legitimizing an industry once considered too infantile. David Brothers is the content manager at Image Comics, one of the largest independent publishers. He says that it's up to small publishers to be more experimental with their content.
It's tough to make a new character work in superhero comics because people want Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. And I can't blame them because those are great characters. But by shifting away from the superhero thing, your opportunities just widen.
Creators like Miriam Awan, who's a school counselor and therapist by day, are doing just that.
I've heard students time and again come in and say they want to be superheroes, they want to be Spider-Man, they want to be Superman. And it's heartbreaking for me to try to convince them that that is not an attainable role.
Awan's book also wants to empower women. It focuses on a group of female fighters from around the world who are trained in various martial arts and are on a quest to find out why guns have disappeared from the earth.
The strength of women is usually accented still in this industry through superpowers, and they have to have something that's not really attainable. So combining women and diversity was a huge part.
Another huge part for publishers like Anthony Fletcher is to speak to his audience on their level.
I've noticed, like, with kids and teens, adults are always talking down to them. And here I want to embrace their intellect and talk up to it, because we have to trust them to make decisions of their own. We don't tell them what to do. We want them to figure it out.
Fletcher's creation, C-Squared and Posse, features a futuristic, multiracial group of inner-city kids who are fighting an intergalactic horde bent on world domination. He wants readers to have fun with his comics and wants to teach life lessons as well.
I want people to be able to see themselves in what I'm doing, especially if you're doing futuristic stuff. If you're doing futuristic stuff and you're not representing other people, what are you telling those people? That they're not going to be in the future? You know, it's not real.
What is very real for these publishers is the need for continued support from an audience that may be more comfortable with a formula that some may say is more tired and trite than tried and true. Zyphus LeBron, Independent Sources.
That's our show this week. Thanks for staying tuned. On behalf of the entire Independent Sources team, I want to wish you and your families a Happy New Year.